It's been a while since my last video. For that I apologize. There just hasn't been that much going on. I've been taking time off because of the coronavirus and all that, and just not posting any videos, not doing anything rather than reading a book, which doesn't make for much of an interesting video. Today I'm working on two projects. I'm going to be changing the fuel filter, which I've done a number of times, and also I'm going to be changing the oil pressure sensor, which I've done once before. But both of these projects have a couple of complications that have come into the picture this time, and I'm hoping that you can help me out with those. Let's roll the intro and get to it. First thing I need to do is to remove the doghouse to get access to both of those, which is why I'm doing both of those projects together today, because if I've got it off, might as well get them both done. Pretty easy, just got to remove these little rubber things, a couple of clips up on top, and sort of the awkward part of pulling this thing out and just setting it outside. I'm camped in Colorado right now and actually doing all right, just sort of bored and enjoying reading my books, but not a whole lot else going on right now, which is why I've not produced any videos. First, let me do the fuel filter. That's the easiest thing to do. I've installed this a handful of times in the past, and it's been pretty easy. And I typically do it when I change the oil. The very first time I did this, I just pulled the filter off. I had a mentor, and we went down to the auto parts store, matched the part, installed the new one, easy breezy. And that's what I've done pretty much in the past, is looked at the video, got the part number, went down auto parts store, bought the filter. This time, things got complicated because I thought I was being smart. I decided to order it from Amazon, and when I went to order it, I just went to a data sheet. Let me show you that here, and it lists all of the little filters and pieces and parts that I need for my step van. So I just ordered it based on this data sheet, thinking that it was the same thing. It wasn't. What I got in the mail was this. So looks the same here as the one that I have now, but the difference is the bottom side has this gaping hole in it. So the part number is actually different on the one that I ordered, that is on the data sheet, from the one that is currently installed. So two different beasts, and I don't know what the difference is. I don't know why this has a hole in here or what's supposed to be installed in this place, but the one that's on here right now is totally different. Let me show you that. So this is the one that is currently installed and the one that I'll be installing today. And as you can see here on the bottom side, it is different. There is this plastic cap thing on the bottom. So I don't know why this one's different. I don't know if you're just supposed to move this thing over, but these are actually different sizes, slightly different all the way around. So I'm not sure why I have two different filters. So that's what's going on. I don't know what the difference is, or why there's two different filters, and why my engine specs are calling for this one here that I ordered from Amazon, which is not what's on there now, or this one here that I've matched, which is matching the one that is currently installed and I'm going to be installing today. So that's where I'd like your input and your help. Taking this thing out and removing this and putting a new one in is pretty easy. It's just a hand tightened thing. Sometimes it takes a little special wrench to get the thing off if it's too tight. This thing takes a lot of threads. Okay, there it goes. And just got to pull it out. And as you can see, this one here matches that one. Slightly different on the knob on the bottom, but sizes are exactly the same. Now I should mention that I have a little, just a milk jug with some diesel fuel that I poured in the bottom, enough to fill this up. So I'm just going to fill this up, wet the gasket, and screw it back on, hand tight. Okay, so I've got the new filter filled up with diesel fuel, and just just have to manipulate it over without spilling it and screw the new one back in. Hand tighten this and that one should be done. So anyway, project number 1 accomplished. Love to see your comments and your feedback on why I have 2 different filters and what in the world that hole on the bottom is for, what it's supposed to plug in to that, given that I can't really pull that part off of a previous filter because this one doesn't have one. So please write your comments below, let me know, and let's get on to the second project, which is the oil pressure sensor. That one I could use some help with as well. As you can see here, the oil pressure gauge is pegged all the way over here on the right, and it's done this once before. So I'm going to replace the sensor today with a new sensor, and that is where things got a little bit complicated. Last time I had a real hard time finding the replacement sensor and found one that was manufactured in China and replaced it. Only lasted a few months before it quit working, and it's doing what you see now. So went back to Cummins and tried to get a new one, and both Cummins and Freightliner, I have a Cummins 5.9, they both told me that this has been discontinued and there's no replacement parts forthcoming, no third parties that make them, and the only option is to use one from Dodge. Well, that's where things get complicated. Let me show you the one from Dodge. Here's the one from Dodge, and I bought this at Napa. And the one from Dodge looks identical on the bottom side, and functionally I think it's the same. Where it's different is on the top side. And if you look down here, you'll see that it actually has a socket plug on top of it. And when you compare this to the one from Freightliner, let me show you that one, and you'll see why there's a problem. Here you can see the one from Cummins and Freightliner, and it has little eyelets on the ends of the wires, and it just uses a bolt and nut on each of the things to tighten it down. So obviously those will not attach to the new one. So what I had to do was I had to purchase from Dodge this new gizmo here, and this is the plug that plugs into here. So this thing costs $25 just for this plug adapter to be able to plug into here to Dodge's proprietary type plug. And then I've got to connect these wires to those wires, but I'm actually not sure which is the positive and the negative over there because they're not marked. So I've got to do a little bit of testing and figure out which way they go. So that is the troubleshooting problem there, is I'm trying to put a Dodge unit in there hoping it'll work, and I've got to rewire the thing to get it to work. So I'm crossing my fingers that I've figured out how to do this. If it doesn't go well, I'll be looking for some comments. If it does go well, write a compliment to me for my problem-solving skills, because as you've probably seen over the last 3 years, I am an amateur at these kinds of things, and I'm just trying to learn how to do all this stuff. And I've had some great mentors, but I'm still a beginner. So I'm just going to clip the wires here on the old one, since I've got to strip those and make them match. Put on the new wires. Alright, so this one's coming off. Alright, so let's put the new one in. Hopefully it fits. And it does. Put a little bit of oil on it right where the threads are, hoping that'll help it seal. And this needs to be tighter than hand tight. I think it needs to go all the way down. Alright, I have that tightened up now with a wrench. So now the hard part is going to be trying to get all the way in here to strip these 2 wires, which are very, very short. And it's just awkward getting all the way back down in there to be able to strip these. So that is going to be the challenge. Then I'll put a butt connection in, but first I need to get some bare wires and do some testing. Well, I have some interesting news. Let me show you. I've wired it both ways, reversed the wires, no difference. Let me start the engine and show you. Okay, here we go. Starting the engine, and here we go. You see? No change. I've tried the wires both ways. So as you can see, there's no change here. I've tried wiring it both ways. This is not moving at all, although I did see that the light up here was dimly lit for the oil. So that means that I think this gauge itself is bad and probably not the sensor. But as I've mentioned so many times before, I am a beginner at all this stuff. I'm not an expert mechanic. I'm just learning this stuff. So if you happen to be an expert with this, I'd love to get some of your feedback and input on what's going on. Do you think the dash gauge is off? Anyway, this is an all analog system, by the way. There's no computer in this. It's a 1996 Grumman Olson with a Cummins 5.9 6BT from 1996. So that is the engine model, and you saw the oil pressure sensor there. It is an analog sensor, not a digital sensor. So it's just hardwired wires that go directly up to that gauge in the dash. There's no computer system or anything else involved. I'd love to get some input from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate all of your feedback and your help with my mini projects. Savor the moment, and I'll see you in a future video.